about 350 yards up. He's going to hit about a 500, I expect, don't you think?
That's the beach, man. Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
Let's go while we're young.
A looper?
A looper. You know, the caddy, looper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chasing Daylight podcast. It's been a while since I've done a solo episode, but today I am putting this one out because I've had a crazy week, and scheduling a show on short notice for the guys to come up and record was just going to be a logistical nightmare. So this is not going to be your typical weekly walk episode. I wanted to talk a little bit about what just took place for me and what's coming up this week, what's coming up next week, as the Shriners is coming in town. And we had the Ryder Cup. I don't want to get too much into that because I want the fellas here to talk about that. It was an impressive performance from the USA team. They dominated. It's nice to finally see what everybody said should happen actually happen. On our home course at Whistling Straits, they just absolutely kicked the Europeans' ass, which was amazing to see. I'm a little upset because I didn't get to see much of it because of where I was. But, the overall outcome was worth it. Seeing the USA team afterwards with the celebrations, the memes were fantastic. All the videos, if you're a Ryder Cup fan and you're a USA Ryder Cup fan, it was epic. And so happy for the fellas to have the cup back in the United States. And it'll be interesting to see what happens in a couple years when this young team is a little bit older, and who the captain's going to be. Is Tiger Woods going to be around? You never know. So that is something to definitely look forward to. But I listened to last week's show. I thought it was great. Trey, thank you so much for coming on. I don't think we had any rat farts. We're just going to skip that and get right into what I was doing last week. So my good buddy Andrew Gainey qualified for the U.S. Mid-Amateur, which, if you're not aware of what that is, it's a USGA-sanctioned event. It's basically the U.S. Open, but for mid-ams, which is anybody 25 and older, and the handicap qualification to get into a qualifier, I think, is 3.2. It's a little bit higher than the U.S. Open qualifiers. He went up to South Dakota, his regional one close to him. He wasn't able to attend, so he found one that wasn't too far away. He's based out of St. Louis, and went up there and actually won the event. It was pretty cool experience for him. He was thrilled about it. He kept sending me text messages going, "I can't believe this. I'm the clubhouse leader. Butterflies in my stomach, going nuts." And he ended up winning it. So that got him into the U.S. Mid-Am, which I don't have a lot of history with this event. Actually, it's relatively new to my knowledge. I know it's been around this was the 40th year. And it was pretty freaking special. Something like 5,500 people tried to qualify for this, and 264, if I remember correctly, is the total amount of players that made their way out to Nantucket in Massachusetts, Nantucket Island, to play in the U.S. Mid-Am. So what they do is they have 2 rounds of stroke play. For most of these Mid-Am events, they pick a pretty exclusive private club, and that was Sanctity Head. If you check out my Instagram page, I was posting a lot of stories and a lot of photos on there about the place. It's absolutely spectacular. And then the other course was Mia Comet, which is a public course that is, wow. It is really good for a public course. The it's just the course. They were two completely different golf courses, equally beautiful, equally difficult, and it was a lot of fun to be around the place. So we flew out. I met Andrew in Philly. We hopped on a plane from there, flew into Rhode Island, stayed the night because we got in late. It was all-day travel with layovers and changing planes and all, and driving. Got up in the morning, met my buddy Pat at Newport National in Rhode Island. Crossed Rhode Island off my states I've played list. Had a fun day out there. Just kind of, it was good to see Pat. Hadn't seen him in a while. Hanging with the fellows, just playing some golf on a really fun golf course. That was a great time. And then the next day we got up, took the 2-hour ferry ride from New Bedford. Made one stop at Martha's Vineyard, and then it was like an hour to there and then an hour out to Nantucket. And me being a desert rat and living my whole life in the Southwest, it was crazy to see Nantucket. It's a small little island. It's not that small. It's a pretty good sized island, but it's a small community. Every building there is gray with white trim or blue trim. Seriously, every building is gray. It's kind of weird. The houses are old. It's been around a long, long time. One of the gentlemen that I spoke to that's lived on the island for 50 years, he was actually a walking score with us. He told me that they have at, I'm going to say it wrong, but Secaucet, I think is that what it's called. They have a little 9-hole course that has been claimed as the oldest golf course in North America. It's a little 9-hole course right next to Nantucket Country Club. If you want to look on Google Maps, you'll see it. But there's a ton of history in this place. There's cobblestone roads and a lot of shops, a lot of great food. It is a wild place, I hear, during summertime. This was kind of at the end of summer, unseasonably warm, they were telling us. So we got to the island, checked out our room where we were staying at a place called Beachside, which was really, for where it was really nice. It was a really nice place. Really enjoyed staying there. We grabbed a shuttle. The USGA provided shuttles to and from the courses, which was awesome. We didn't have to worry about getting a rental car on the island or ferrying a car over. They ran shuttles constantly, and the crews running the shuttles were fantastic. We got out to Sankaty on Wednesday afternoon. Got to walk around the facility. They had a welcoming brunch type thing and registration, and we got all our information about the event and got to check out the pro shop, which is really cool. I mean, this is a pretty exclusive private club. Bill Belichick is a member, the coach of the Patriots, and there's, I'm sure, a ton of other members that are out there, but wow, it was breathtaking. We got to mess around on the putting green for a little bit, just to get loose, went to the range, warmed up, and their short game practice facility is outstanding. The range was outstanding. The wind was blowing in, so they said, make sure you make that adjustment on your distances because it's going to be different. And then the last day we were there, the range was only irons because it was going to go hit some, $5 million houses if you hit it too far. So pretty unique course. The lighthouse, of course, is their claim to, what you see most often with anything at Sankaty. It's going to have the lighthouse, which I don't even know what that lighthouse is called. I have to look that up. But the views were just spectacular. A lot of people said that it is, what the hell is the name of the course? I'll remember in a minute. It's like its little brother. Very, very challenging. Very, very challenging. So after Andrew did his warm-up and we walked around, we headed back to the hotel, got some dinner, and then had our practice rounds. Our first practice round, we played at Mia Comet. got to see what the course was like. The wind is constantly changing there. And with it being unseasonably warm, it was awesome. The conditions were amazing. And then the next day at Sankaty, it was equally as amazing. They hadn't had rain for several weeks, which is also uncommon. And the course was firm. Like the first hole, Andrew hit a 3-wood that rolled out to plus 300. And we were like, wow. The greens were crazy firm. And if you saw some of the videos that I posted, very, very tough. Because, I mean, they were probably rolling at 12 and a half, 13. I mean, that's the only protection that golf course has is the wind and the greens. It's pretty much right out in front of you, but when you get the wind, man, does it change it, man. We found that out. The first day of the event was Saturday, because you get the 2 practice rounds, and then it's 2 rounds of stroke play. Then they take from the 264, the top 64, and then it goes match play after that. So Saturday, fortunately for us, we got me a Comet. It rained. We were there for 3 days, and it was absolutely beautiful weather. And then Friday night, storm came in, dumped a ton of water on the course and on the island. I mean, it was drenched. The shuttle driver driving to the course was like he was driving a boat. There was so much water on the ground. Oh, you know what? That was Saturday. Yeah, it was Saturday night. I'm sorry. The rain came Saturday night. Saturday, our round started in the afternoon. We were one of the afternoon tee times. Started on 10. We got to the 9th fairway, and they blew the horn for a fog delay. And we were allowed to finish the hole. And by the time we got done with the hole, they ended the delay, so it really didn't stop us much. But once we made the turn and got to the 4th hole, the fog rolled in, and it was tough. Hard to see, of course. Rangefinders weren't working, so we had the yardage book, so that really didn't matter. But it's still nice to get a 100% visual on things. But the rangefinders weren't working because the fog was so dense, and it really. I mean, I've played in conditions like this up at Bandon, but when you're playing a tournament, and at a big tournament, and you have the fog come in, and it changes everything. The way the ball flies, the way it lands, the way it rolls on the green. That moisture really affects everything that we were used to. And so Andrew was playing really well. I think he was 1 over through 13 through 12 holes, and was playing really well. And we got to those last couple of holes in the fog, and it was just tough. Everybody was struggling. And they ended up blowing the horn and stopping play. We had 3 holes to go. And it was still daylight, but it was foggy and it was dim, and they just said, okay, it's enough. So we had to come back at 7 a.m. to complete that round. But over at Sankaty, they had a 5-hour delay, which really screwed everything up for the rest of the week. I think they're back on track now, but it really messed everything up. Some of the guys had 6 p.m. tee times on Sunday, which is like you're gonna get in a hole because the delay was so bad. So we got up Sunday morning, and that's when the rain had hit. And we got to the course. It was still raining. The rain finally stopped. It was a blast watching the grounds crew remove the river from the putting green, the practice green, and get it ready for the players. So we were able to get in some warm-ups. We didn't spend too much time there. Just kind of quick set through the clubs and got in some putting. And then we made our way out to the 7th tee box where we had to start. And if you saw the pictures, the day before, you couldn't see the end of the tee boxes. It was that thick. And then the next day, it's beautiful and clear. And Andrew just got off to a bad start. double bogey. So he went from +2 because he bogeyed the hole before, +2 to +7, and it just, I mean, it mentally just wrecked him. Wrecked him. No, it was bad. It was an unfortunate, but everybody had to do it. Not everybody. Some people got done. But it sucked. It sucked because the course was completely different. The wind was completely different. It was saturated. I posted a story of me walking in the fairway where it was, just water everywhere. And then afterwards, we hitched a ride from one of the caddies named Pete that is out at Sanctity, which I'm going to get him on the show because there is a program at Sanctity that is the only one left in the country. It's a caddy camp that they have there at Sanctity, and I chatted with him, and he's going to come on the show to talk a lot more about that because it's a very, very unique program that I think everybody would be really interested in. So look for that coming in the next couple weeks. So we got over to Sanctity, had a 3-hour wait for our tee time, had some breakfast, kicked back, watched everybody come in to 18 for a little bit, went and got our practice in, and then we started playing, and Andrew played fantastic. I mean, he played so well, considering what had happened 3-4 hours prior for him to go out on, I mean, I don't want to say it was the more difficult course, but the stroke average on Sunday was 77, I think, and he ended up shooting 3 over 73. He drove the ball great. Irons were great. Putter just kind of didn't show up on a couple holes, and that +3 could have easily been a 2 under. But I think the cut was +2. +2 got you in. There was a 13-man playoff for 7 spots. They wrapped that up yesterday, and then and started the match play. And the first round of match play is taking place right now on Tuesday afternoon. So that's what took place there. If you ever get a chance to go watch one of these events, it's fantastic. I had no idea what it took to get into these. And Nathan Smith, I believe is his name, 4-time champion of this event. I mean, that is fucking incredible if you ask me. To be able to say that you're a 4-time champion of U.S. Mid-Am is just remarkable. So I watched him for a couple holes. Just a solid stick. Just, pipe it down the middle, hit it on the green. It was fun to watch. But the golf course changed after the rain. When we played it on Friday, it was firm, fast, and the wind was blowing. The wind was blowing one way and made a lot of the holes easy and some of them really difficult. And then the wind switched and blew from a different direction. It was dry, or went from being dry to damp. And where people are hitting hybrids and irons the first day off the first tee and almost rolling it out to that bunker at 300 plus yards, on Sunday they were hitting driver, and it would land and bounce and stop, some 50 yards short of that bunker. So it really changed the course. And man, did it get windy. And you have the 12th hole was a 225-yard par 3 dead into a 25-30 mile an hour wind. It was tough out there. And credit to all the guys that played and advanced. We met some amazing people. Matt DeVito, he's out of New York, was just an awesome guy that we met. Brett, who made the round of 64, he played with us in our threesome, in our group of 3. He did really well. Great player. Him and his caddy, we had a blast with. Matt, I can't remember Matt's last name. Nicholas, I think is what it was. He plays out of Louisiana. He was wearing Vans. He's known as the Louisiana golfer that plays in Vans. Great guy, so much fun to be around. We had an absolute blast. Met a ton of great people, saw some incredible golfers, and it's an event that it's an accomplishment to get into. And I told Andrew, this is an amazing thing for you to be able to make this and be able to come out here to do it. I was so grateful that he asked me to come along with him. We had such an amazing time. It's a lifetime of memories that I'm going to have. It was amazing. And, Nantucket isn't exactly an easy place to get to. You can get there by plane or by ferry. It's an island, of course. But, it's not easy to get to. And then they had bad weather, and it made it a challenge. And so for all these guys that went out there, showed up, and played, hats off to them. Also met it was our practice round on Friday at Sanctity. We get to the Sanctity, sorry. We get to the tee box and I see the bag, and he's got a Hey Reb and a UNLV head cover. I was like, whoa. So I look, and his name's CJ, and I'm like, CJ, you played at UNLV? He's like, yeah. And he played back in 05 to 08, I think it was. A couple years there with Ryan Moore. Great guy, hell of a stick. Just a blast to be around. He was absolutely hilarious. His dad was a blackjack dealer out here in Vegas. Now he's out in Ohio. CJ is living out in Athens, Georgia. But his caddy Matt was a photographer, or is a photographer, and so we talked a lot about that. I mean, just some really great people. I don't think I met one person that was an asshole in any sort of, well, you know what? There is. There was one person that was an asshole. On our first practice round at Mia Comet on the 6th hole, Andrew had got a Sanctity mallet head cover, and it fell off. Total caddy error, all on me. Realized it as we were hitting our approach on the next hole, and so I said, I'm going to go grab it. So I went back, nowhere to be found. Asked the group that was on the tee box if they saw it, and they're like, no, we didn't see anything. We'll keep our eye out. And so I go to the next group that was on the green, where the head cover more than likely fell off, and they ignored me. It was so strange. I'm like, hey, we lost the head cover. Has anybody seen it? And it's like I was speaking a different dialect. And one person just kind of looked at me and with a shake of his head, and I was like, okay. Never found it. Nobody ever turned it in. Nobody ever found it. So if you look at the person who finished last on the leaderboard, I'm sure that son of a bitch stole that head cover. Well, not stole. They found it and didn't turn it in and kept it instead. Bad karma coming your way. And so, funny story on that. So we decided to test the scoundrels that were in the neighborhood. Andrew had a new Titleist umbrella, and when it started raining during the Mia Comet round, before the fog came in, he pulled it out, and it had broken right about maybe 4 inches above the handle, right where the lock clicks in, and it just bent. And so we don't know if it happened in shipping or while moving stuff around, but it broke, and it was useless. You couldn't use it because you had to hold it up by the top of the umbrella because the bottom was just so weak. So he's like, well, this thing's trash. So Sunday morning after we got done eating breakfast, we were sitting out. They had a big covered tent right next to the putting green. We left it there in its case. Nobody could tell it was broken because it was in the little pouch that the umbrellas come in, and we left it leaning up against the table. Went and did our warm-up, played the 18 holes, had the barbecue afterwards, and when we were getting ready to leave, I go, look, it was still there. So a lot of good people. Nobody, took what looked like a brand new Titleist umbrella, but somebody snagged a Sanctity head cover, which really upset me, mainly because I had to replace it because it was a caddy error. So, in conclusion of this whole thing, if you get a chance to see one of these events next year, it is at Erin Hills. And then after that, it's at Sleepy Hollow. If you're somebody that is an amateur golfer and you're in that, 3.2 and better index, seriously consider trying to qualify for one of these events because it is an experience you will never forget. The USGA goes above and beyond to make this a special event for the players. And, you kind of feel like golf royalty while you're playing this. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
We're Nish and Chris, two very amateur golfers on a quest to play the top 100 courses in the UK and Ireland, after Chris set this challenge on a drunken Saturday night in my kitchen. Join us on our frequently humorous journey of a lifetime as we grapple with the logistical and financial challenge of playing some of the best courses in the world, as well as grappling with our games, because let's face it, it's never just about playing. Sometimes the score matters too. Listen to the Top 110 Golf Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
It was a blast. I had a blast. I'm glad I got to add caddying in the U.S. Mid-Am to my list of things that I've done in golf. So I'm hoping Andrew can qualify again, and next year we'll be at Erin Hills. So this week, I do want to go over the odds for the PGA Tour this week because there is an event that is taking place. It is, I'll tell you here in a second, the Sanderson's Farm. I got the odds here. We'll run down real quick. This is Joe's gig, so I'm sorry if I'm totally botching this. But your favorites are Will Zalatoris at 15-1, Sam Burns 15-1, Sung J M 17-1, Sergio Garcia 18-1. Going down the list here a little bit. Gary Woodland 55-1, Matthew Wolff 60-1, Matthias Schwab 60-1, Scott Stalling 65-1, Joel Damon 75-1. Joe's gonna be all over that. Brendan Todd 75-1, Lucas Glover 90-1, and we get down near the bottom here at 200-1. You got Kramer Hickok, Matthew Naismith, Sam Ryder, Austin Cook, Dylan Wu, Sung Kang, Chason Hadley, Bryce Garnett, Camilo Villegas, Tyler McCumber, and Jimmy Walker. Man, Jimmy Walker. Ryan Moore, 150-1. So that'll be this weekend. It's always a fun tournament to watch, and always some good golf taking place out there. The Shriners is coming. It will be here. It starts next Monday is when it officially kicks off. We're looking forward to being out there for that. Love the Vegas event. TPC Summerlin puts on a fantastic tournament. Shriners does some amazing things for the community. There's always some events going on for the week. It's going to be nice. There's a Raiders game that weekend. We're playing the Bears. We have our VGN major that Saturday. So we're going to be out there. Jeremy, Joe, and myself will be out there covering as much as we can for everybody. Maybe get some insider information on some clubs and stuff that, we get to see when we're out there. So we're looking forward to that. And then the following week, the CJ Cup is out at the Summit, which we're going to try and get out there for that as well. So there's a lot of good golf coming. It's my favorite time of the year for golf in Vegas, October. If you've ever been here in October, you know that this time of year is absolutely amazing. The weather is just perfect. The high today is only supposed to be 88. We still have a little smoke in the valley from all the California fires, which I had some guy in the airport last night said they're calling them the China fires, that the Chinese are deliberately setting fires. I mean, there's some, crazy conspiracy theorists out there, but that's the first time I ever heard that. Wow. So I got kind of a chuckle about that. So if you can get out to Vegas in October, do so. All the courses are coming that overseed are coming off the overseed. Check to see if they're cart path only, if that's something like that bothers you. Most of them, it takes a couple weeks. So by mid-October, all the courses wide open, fantastic conditions. Get in as much of this daylight as you can because daylight savings is coming to an end soon. And we're going to be going to the shorter days, which sucks, especially out here. Hate it that we go off daylight savings. I like the longer days. Nevada just needs to move to the mountain time zone and be done with it and make everybody happy. I played that round out at Newport, and it wasn't. I had rental clubs, and it was a mixed bag of tricks. Some of the irons were stiff shafts, some of them were regular flex. They were Callaway Mavericks that had so much offset. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I really didn't care too much. My elbow has been absolutely killing me. So I was looking forward to, not taking any swings or playing for a week. And after walking those 72 holes and carrying a bag on my back, hopped on a ferry, hopped on a plane, got a couple hours sleep to wake up and get the kids off to school. Now I got a busy day ahead of myself getting caught up, and before we head out to 5-iron for league night. So it was a crazy week. I'm glad to be home. This, like I said, is different than what we've been putting out, so I apologize in advance if you hate just listening to me. I wish Joe and Jeremy could be here with me right now, but I didn't want to put nothing out this week. We have a lot of loyal listeners, and we love every single one of you guys and gals. We do have a couple female listeners, although the numbers don't show that. Come on, ladies, where you at? We need some love. So everybody will be back next week. We'll be back on schedule. We'll be previewing the Shriners. We'll talk about what just happened at Sanderson Farm. We'll get everybody's take on the Ryder Cup, everybody's thoughts on what happened out at the Mid-Am, and our locks. I'll post our locks. We've got that communication between the group. So we got a rebound from going 0 for 3 at the opening tournament. I mean, that was embarrassing. That didn't happen once. I don't think we had 2 guys miss the cut last year. Well, maybe once. So looking to rebound from that for this week's, and then it's Shriners week, man. Shriners. Can't wait. Oh, and hockey started too. Good. There's so much going on in Vegas. Now is a great time to be in Vegas. Beautiful weather, amazing sports, amazing golf. Everything's going on right here, right now. So get out to Vegas. Get out to Vegas. I do want to remind everybody about our Facebook group that I started a little while back. It's called Daylight Chasers in Vegas. Search for it. Come join it, man. It's a lot of fun. A lot of continued conversations about what happens on the show, and we spark up conversations that we'll talk about on the show. Yeah, we had a good one the other day from Mark asking what everybody thought about this "Make Golf Your Thing" commercials that they're running during golf. During the airing of golf tournaments. It's like, he was saying the people that tune in and watching golf is their thing already. So, find some other place to put that. He was commenting on that. Bob had a comment to respond to. It's just a lot of good conversation, a lot of good topics. It's a great way for us to communicate and share info with you guys. I know not everybody's a big Facebook fan. Not asking you to create a Facebook account just to do this. But if you are on Facebook and you're somebody that, is involved in different golf groups, come on over, check it out, see what it's like. We're having some fun over there. And as always, give us a follow on Instagram. And one of the best things that you, the listeners, can do to help us grow the show is sharing it with your friends. If you've got a golf buddy that maybe isn't into podcasting or doesn't listen to any podcasts, but is a golf geek, golf nerd like we are, share it with them. Let them check us out, see what they think. We really love all the feedback we get from everybody, and we love the engagement that we get with people. I actually ran into somebody that had listened to the show. They were from, I think, Indiana. They were out there, And they said, yeah, I've ran across that and heard it, so it's great meeting people like that, fans of the show. People enjoy what we're doing. We're having a blast doing it, and we want to keep it rolling. So do that. Share it with your friends. Tell them, hit that subscribe button, and tune in to each episode each week. Check out the Facebook group and Instagram. So we're out there. We're trying to do it. That'll do it for this week. I don't know what else I got to say. I don't know if there's much else to say. That was a lot of just me. I really wish the other guys were here right now, but they're not. So we'll just deal with that, and be back next week with a whole new show covering everything that we normally do in a weekly walk. So until then, make sure you get out and chase some daylight.